Here we go.
Okay, so
Here we go.
so hold on. Hello again, and welcome to episode 163 of SDGC for Thursday, September 26th. If you're not aware, we're fucking late, and so here's what happened, right? So what had happened is we all got online, and Discord just decided to, like, literally, it was fine. And then all of a sudden, the entirety of Discord took a shit for everybody across the world. And
yeah, this ain't us.
Yeah,
we take no responsibility whatsoever.
For once, these technical difficulties had nothing to do with the fact that we're SDGC at all. So I'm really proud of that. How was everybody?
Cool. Good.
I'm pretty good. Anthony's here.
It's been a long fucking time,
Look at
Anthony.
that guy.
Hello. I regrew my beard.
It's our
just
boy
in time
New York
for John
Tony.
to take his off.
Anthony, how are you?
Oh yeah, John, did you shave?
I did shave.
There was like a big announcement tweet for it.
Yeah,
About
I made a big
shaving?
I made a big deal out of it. I was like, look, I shaved. Vic,
You made a big deal about something you did?
Oh fuck! Wow, Jeff.
What?
Sickest of burns.
God damn it, Jeff.
Wow.
We're just...
Not to double down, but I also have to point out, Rar in chat just said, sharing an unrelated tweet, and it's John mentioning that he's the producer for tonight.
No, hold on. I
So let's
mentioned
see if I don't fuck this up.
that's what. Yes, it's self-deprecating humor, Jeff, because I'm a man who can laugh at himself. Apparently, I'm a man that everybody in the podcast in the chat can laugh at as well. So that's fine.
He is a man
That's
of constant
fine.
sorrow.
Only on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What?
Anthony, look, we have a guy. Anthony, what have you been up to?
Fine, well, pay attention, Anthony.
Yeah. What have I been up to? I have been keeping it real. Is that what I can say? Is that
Are you keeping it real, Anthony? Are you?
I don't know. What does that
keeping it
mean?
all the way real?
That
No.
sounds ominous.
My freedom of no longer being with a video game press outlet, I have been doing some freelancing out in the world, writing for The Ringer these days, and Bill Simmons's little sports rag that he publishes, doing some features. And I was really hoping I was going to be able to talk about my next feature for them tonight, and I can't yet. I can't. There's another one happening that is going to be good, and that'll probably be running in October. That's what.
My goodness, a writer who is good is writing something good. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I'm happy for you, man.
Thanks, Rem. It may or may not involve Wii Fit. Let me put it that way.
We fit.
Ooh, I love that shit.
May or may not involve Wii Fit.
I played that, like, specifically Wii Fit, not like Wii Fit U or Ring Fit.
Not Wii Fit U, not Wii Fit Plus, Wii Fit.
Wow, I loved me some Wii Fit U. I didn't play the original Wii Fit, but Wii Fit U was real good for me for a while.
Wii Fit. Has anybody here used a balance board recently? A Wii balance board recently?
No.
In the last, like, 2 years, I have.
Yeah, all right. They are terrible.
Oh, yes.
They're just in general the worst piece of hardware of all
Oh,
time.
yes.
And
They also shame you. They definitely, like, fat shame you.
Oh, immediately. They fat
Yes.
shame you
Instantly.
instantaneously.
Like you get on it. I don't know what Wii Fit is, but in Wii Fit U, you stand on it at the very beginning when it's like calculating your stuff, and if it thinks you're fat, it makes your me like really, really large, and then kind of like makes fun of you for it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
come on now.
It calculates.
Well,
calculates your BMI,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't matter. Like if you're 6'7" and you weigh 200 pounds, it'll be like, you are a disgusting troll.
Well, didn't they
Thanks,
have to
Nintendo.
like delay it in the US for a long time to make like stronger boards that could fit the average American compared to Japan?
Did they? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure Japan actually has a different version of the board that is lighter and smaller.
Yeah, well, I recommend next time you go into like a thrift store or a Salvation Army or a junk shop, just take a look around, and I guarantee you there is just stacks and stacks and stacks of Wii Fit balance boards
Ooh.
that you've just never noticed before.
Right next to the
because-
Guitar Hero
Anthony, do you
guitars.
want to know what we did with ours when we were done with it?
Oh yes, please.
So we had this Wii Fit balance board, and it was in a storage cabinet in our basement with a bunch of other gaming. You know, everybody has that cabinet that's just like gaming junk that you're not using. It was in that cabinet, and that cabinet was next to that cabinet. No, this was like legit junk, like controllers for systems that are like 3 years old that we don't care about, or not 3 generations old that we don't use anymore. Anyway, it was next to our spare room, and the spare room is like this nice empty room, and we started fostering pets. And we got a litter of kittens, and they were so cute. But the litter box that we had, because we've gotten this litter box just like a normal litter box, we didn't think about it. We had these cats. They're like a couple weeks old. They're like this big. They can't get into the litter box because the sides are like, you know, this high or whatever. And so we made them some steps out of 2 Wii balance boards stacked on top of each other slightly off. And they got so disgusting. They got like cat litter in between the little tiny like ridges in there. Oh, it was so gross.
Yeah, I don't think that there is a clean Wii balance board left on the
No,
face of
why'd
the
they
earth.
make them white? What a terrible choice.
Just the worst
Anthony.
possible
Mm.
choice.
So here's the real question, Anthony. Would you lick a Wii Fit balance
God
board?
Damn it,
All right.
John.
So I came prepared. I decided I'm not going to lick my Switch tonight.
Okay.
And I don't have the Link Amiibo. However,
What are you gonna lick?
I do have this tiny little statue of NES era Link.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is
that
awesome.
I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to be like,
He looks constipated. Don't let.
Oh no, no!
What the fuck are you
Oh!
doing?
Is that actually from the 80s?
no, he's from the last couple of years. And
Oh.
Nintendo-
For no reason at all. Do you remember that article that came out shortly after the Amiibo started getting released about sticking Amiibo up your ass?
Well, I
Yeah.
can't- no,
Oh,
no,
no,
no, I
yep.
don't.
I distinctly remember that article.
Wait, no,
Stuff
no,
like
no, no, no,
that.
no. Wait, hold on. What the hell? What?
Oh, I don't remember. Someone wrote an article when the Amiibo started coming out that was like ranking their use as butt plugs.
Avoid
Oh,
Bowser.
no. Well,
Avoid
Yeah,
Bowser.
you don't want. Yeah, you don't want.
Oof.
Like,
Don't-
It's no,
Although,
forget
honestly-
Bowser. I'm worried about all the Fire Emblem characters. They all have swords.
I'll tell you what though, the soft Metroid one, the squishy one, would actually probably be a viable option.
This
right?
was just the original Smash Brothers set I think they did. This was very early on. I don't think any of
Well,
these were available.
okay.
You're
then.
gonna use it.
But
Look,
we can
look,
ask
The
whoever wrote
squishy
it to do a
Interest
Metroid-
dropped
follow-up.
off quickly once they realized regular butt plugs.
John,
just worked better.
John,
If you're gonna
John,
use an Amiibo as a
the
butt plug,
squishy Metroid comes with a broken glass bottle
but
that is
the
coming
Metroid,
out of.
no, but the Metroid, but it's oblong. It's oblong. So when you know when the time comes for, you know, insertion, you're actually talking about the squishy Metroid.
I'm so
Right?
glad I came
It's
back to the
attached-
show.
John,
for
why
this
do
one.
you?
It's attached to what is supposedly
All
broken
right.
glass.
This is the second podcast in a row where I have said something in an attempt to, or done something in an attempt to get it over with and move the conversation onward, and ended up immediately regretting what I have started.
Just
Red,
escalation.
this is
Red.
your fault.
Yeah,
That's
every
what
time. I
This
should
is
just
your
I should
fault.
just never it is. I admit it. I licked the switch, it got everyone started. Now I'm talking no. All right.
Okay, so
I
Talk-
know. Don't stop blaming me in chat.
So, Amiibos. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. So, we do have video games to talk about. I would love to talk about Amiibos and all the things you can do with them all night. But we do need to talk about video games. And we do have a lot to... Pollock's Oil in chat, are we licking switches again? No. But
No!
you did just miss a very engaging discussion about Amiibos and their uses as butt plugs.
There's an
so-
article, just like, I'm pretty sure if you just Google, like, Amiibo as butt plugs, that'll probably be the first search result.
Don't
but I'm
do
not
it.
taking
Don't
responsibility
image
if it's
search it.
not.
Don't
Don't
image
image
search
search it.
don't look for it at work. Don't
Good luck- good
do
luck,
not
everyone.
Do not Google Amiibo butt plugs at work.
Don't do
Don't.
it.
I'm telling you right
don't. Okay. Okay.
Oh, hey,
Okay.
Jeff Grubb in the chat. Haven't seen you in a while, buddy. What's going on?
What's up, Jeff Grubb?
Okay, so there's a shitload of video games we want to talk about, and we are going to start by talking about what we've been playing recently. And I think right now, a lot of us have either finished or are in the middle of playing Link's Awakening, the remake of the old Game Boy, and then Game Boy Color game. Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zelda games of all time.
Me too.
I fucking love that game, Brandon. I love that game, and
I
I-
played it on a big old fat ugly green
Hell,
brick
that's
Game
the-
Boy when I
that's
was a
the
little kid.
best way to play it.
Aw.
That is
Yep.
the best way to play it. And
And I don't have a Switch, but I love the way the remake looks. and all
so
that. And I love the way it sounds. I've listened to the OST.
Yeah.
and
so let's
It's
just
really nice.
Oh, the soundtrack's incredible.
so let's just get this out. So I finished it once, and I'm halfway through my hero playthrough. Who Anthony, you have also finished it.
I have finished it. I only have about 4 of the gold level Dampy.
Okay, so you're doing the whole.
Dungeon
You're doing the what's it called? The chamber
Dungeon
dungeons.
Crater,
the
Chamber
yeah,
Dungeon.
Chamber
yeah.
dungeons. Yeah, you're doing those.
I love it. I love that stuff. So I've done everything but about 4 of those,
Justin.
which are like the expert level ones. I like you guys, John. I played this back in the day. It is not just like my top Zelda game. This is like my top 5 games of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's-
think I've always put it probably like in my top 20.
It's
Yeah,
fucking
it's-
great.
It's amazing. And this is a very good remake. It's one of the weirdest remakes of any game I've ever played. Because it is verbatim the original game.
Is
To the
it?
yes, to the point that none of the dialogue has been changed. Every
Yeah,
single
it's a
line-
1-to-1 remake. Everything.
1-to-1, and there are strange things that they've changed, and strange Nintendo. It's almost like Nintendo can't make a game where at least one thing isn't annoying. Like something has to be annoying.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
they're like, oh, well, in the original, treasure chests appeared instantaneously. Why don't we just make it take 5 seconds for every treasure chest to appear in Link's Awakening? But otherwise, everything is the same. There are more seashells. There are 24 extra seashells.
I learned that the hard way last night.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
did.
oh, I only need 3 more, and then I spent the next 3 hours looking for seashells.
Oh, it's
Hey,
it's
hey,
hard.
Rob, what are the seashells?
Yeah,
for?
Rob, tell us all about it, Robbo Plato. Robbo Plato. His name is Justin, you fucking loser.
Bravo, Play. Oh God.
But now, Justin, I'm sorry. Now you are Robbo Plato from Ireland.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
fuck.
but that's true.
His
You are-
name's
I can't
Justin.
do the
just
accent.
on the off chance someone in chat was confused. His name is Justin.
But it's also now
Rob
Robbo
O'Plato.
Robbo Plato.
For all of time. Red, this is your first time ever playing any version of Link's
Yeah.
Awakening. How do you feel about it?
Oh my God, it's precious. It's so darling. I love. Okay, everybody. I'm like a weird. I'm a weird gamer. Like I recognize that I'm in the demographic of people that most of the stats about what people spend money on. I just don't fall into anybody's correct categories on anything. But I love what with the Switch. I love that they have decided to say fuck it. We don't need a powerful console. We're gonna do all of our first party stuff in this really nice stylized kind of art style, all these different things, and make it look really good. I know people had complaints about Breath of the Wild and the grass and shit. I thought Breath of the Wild looked phenomenal in its
That's beautiful.
in
One of
its
the most
stylized way.
It is the best looking game on Switch. in my opinion.
Splatoon is very cartoony, but I love how shiny the ink is. I love those things. I fucking played Pokemon, whatever the new one, Sword and Shield at PAX recently. I thought it looked really nice. It's it's Pokemon, but it looks nice on the Switch. I think this game looks so good. I love that everything looks like little toy figurines.
It's
I know
toys, yep.
people hate the blurring on the edge of the screen. I think it's great.
I
love
love
the way the water
People
looks.
hate the blurring?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
I don't
I've seen
understand
people
why.
complain about the blurring. It took me.
People
took me
complain
a
about
minute.
depth of field and motion blur all the time.
it's
and
fine.
Oh,
those
it's got like that
those,
tilt
those
shift
people
going
won't survive the
on.
winter.
It's,
I love
it's
tilt
so
shift.
cute.
Yeah, the
It's
tilt
so
shift
cute.
look.
I love the little animations. I'm taking so many little clips and putting them on
Like
Twitter.
the
I love
101 did that. It's great.
when the witch is stirring the pot and she's just like,
She gets all
"Ah,"
excited,
she's so
yeah.
happy. It's so
Red-
cute. The music
Red,
is
have you
fantastic.
stolen from the shopkeeper?
No, that would be so mean. I don't play games like that unless it's the
Reb.
best game.
Reb.
But,
I mean,
but
I
I'm
don't think
in
you're getting
hold
the
on. I'm
full
in the
Link's Awakening experience if you
I'm-
haven't gone through a playthrough as Thief.
No, I just walked into the 5th dungeon, and I think I tweeted about this the other day. But the thing that I love Zelda games. I love the 3D ones like Breath of the Wild. But I'm so glad that Nintendo is still committed to these top-down experiences
Yes, me
because
too.
like Breath of the Wild was some of the times they're amazing for similar reasons. But I think one really big distinction is Breath of the Wild was amazing because of this just like big open world where you just look and there's a million things that you want to do. This is good because it's so contained. Like I just got the flippers, I think, and I've uncovered almost the entire map. I think there's like one corner over here and one like little tiny patch in the middle that I haven't uncovered yet.
Yeah, it's
And
not big.
so like you look at it and you think, oh, there's like nothing here, but here. But all of a sudden, just a gajillion things are open to me because I can just jump in the water and swim around. Like I love that. I love that contained, almost like Metrovania-ness to it. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's a little too easy.
Yeah, and hero mode does not help with that. Hero mode is
No.
just it is like the worst hard mode I've seen since BioShock Infinite's 1999 mode,
I don't think
where
it's
it's
that
just
bad.
like it's impossibly annoying at the beginning, and then it's just the same.
Well, see, like
Yeah.
I just went through the color dungeon and got the blue mail, and so like that makes it a lot more bearable.
Yeah.
Reb, have you done the color dungeon?
What
You
is it?
You need to do the color dungeon.
Okay, let me
Alright,
just
yeah.
pack up and go do that.
No, you got to do the color dungeon now. Like
Okay, let me
it's
just
a-
get my sword and go do whatever the fuck that is.
You got to do it. You got to do the color dungeon.
Revisiting
Yeah.
the color dungeon is fun. So for those that don't know, the color dungeon was a bonus dungeon that was added in the Game Boy Color re-release of Link's Awakening. And it's extremely funny, like going back now and visiting it, because the design of that dungeon is so, oh my god, it's in color.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like it's
so
all
weird.
about like matching colors and stuff. It's really funny.
But
Like,
all
looking
of
back
all
on
of the
it.
color puzzles are like they don't need to be solved that way because it would still work on black
Right.
and white Game Boys and
Right.
Super
Yeah.
Game Boys.
Yeah.
So it's just like 5 or 6 rooms, and it's like, you go through this.
So I won't
go
tell
through this,
Reb-
and there's
I
a power at the end of it.
I won't.
I mean,
tell
I
Reb.
assume they did that if it relied on color originally for like colorblind people, right? Would that
Well, it was
be
one
the
of the
exploit?
first Game Boy Color games that was a cross game.
Yeah, it had to work on the regular Game
It
Boy
had
too.
to work on the regular Game Boy too.
Oh,
There are
okay.
Game Boy Color games that are like just that hardware, and colorblindness be damned.
What I love about Link's Awakening, and this was true in the original, and it still holds true today, is it's one of the best examples of gradual difficulty increases, in my opinion. Because I mean, the first half of the game, like the front end of the game, let's face it, is super easy. Like it's ridiculously easy. But by the time you get to like Turtle Rock, and I forget the one that comes before that, but the puzzles get a lot more obtuse. You've really got to think about how to get through the dungeons. And I just it's never difficult to the point where you just want to throw your controller. It's actually one of the easiest Zelda games in my opinion. But I do appreciate the fact that it's not a total cakewalk the entire way through. And also like the world, like the map is so small. Like you could travel across the entire map in a few minutes, but it is so dense and packed with shit to do, like at every turn. I am so glad that they didn't add anything. I'm so glad they didn't change anything. Like Link's Awakening, when it came out, it's funny. I compared it to Breath of the Wild in the sense that it was, by the time Link's Awakening dropped, Nintendo had reached a point where they said, you know what? Zelda's popular enough now where we can play with the formula. Let's do something fun. Let's do something off the wall. Let's switch it up a little bit. And we got Link's Awakening, and they did the same thing with Breath of the Wild. So which is kind of an interesting parallel for me, but
It was just amazing that they got Link's Awakening so right on their first try at a Zelda game on the Game Boy. Because like you look at Super Mario Land, the first Super Mario Land is like, not that great, and then
Right.
Super Mario Land 2 is like way better.
Oh,
But,
I
like,
It also
love.
came 4 years into the lifespan of the original Game
Yeah.
Boy.
True.
It was like they'd sort of gotten all of their big technological feats out of the way. Like they'd gotten
Yeah, I
to
guess it was, like, what,
Wario Land, they'd gotten through
93?
Metroid, and then they were like, let's just blow it out. And it was
Yeah.
huge. Like the map, I mean, it seems very contained, but it's twice as big as the original Zelda for NES. And there's just like a ton more there than you would expect in a Game Boy game. Reb, I found it really, really interesting that the first thing you said about it was that it was so precious, because
Darling.
darling, that's fascinating, because that is the biggest difference the biggest thing that's changed between this remake and the original.
Really?
Because when you played this game in black and white, it was scary.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it was an eerie, like it was a weirdly eerie.
Yeah,
game.
it's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, spooky, and because you have to think about it like this: all the music was way more spare.
Yeah,
music
that
was
weird
toned way
chiptune
down.
music.
Yeah.
So like when the
Hmm.
owl would appear, instead of this like chubby, nice Winnie the Pooh
Yeah.
guy who's like, "Hello, you found your sword," and the
Yeah,
happy
he
little
was all
bubble
Is that
Alive.
what you
Oh,
think the
medicine.
owl sounds like, Anthony?
In this version, yeah, every
Yeah,
version
yeah.
sounds like that.
You found your sword.
Yes, yeah. And in the original one, it's just like silence with a few weird notes, and he's
Yeah,
like,
it's like
"Who are
It's-
you? You're nobody. Go north."
And it feels like a
It's-
dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff said in chat, "Why does the owl sound like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince?"
Oh God.
Because he is.
So
Master
Um,
Link. Go ahead,
So
Justin.
revisiting this game has been really, really great for me because like the past few years, especially on Switch, like I've really kind of fallen out of love with a lot of Nintendo's games. They've taken a lot of series in directions that haven't clicked with me.
You're the one who didn't like Breath of the Wild.
I can't stand
He
Breath of the
didn't
Wild.
like
I
Breath
am
of the Wild,
so
yeah.
sorry for you.
Me too,
I
Red.
really tried. I gave it like 25 hours. But
Oh,
Breath of the
yeah.
Wild for me was it took out everything that defined what Zelda was for me, and everything they replaced it with was frustrating.
Okay.
And so this game coming back, like it was my first Zelda game. Like this is the game that I really fell in love with the series with. And it's so good to revisit it because it brings back that same feeling I did when I first played it. When I was a little kid, I was like worried. I'm like, did I just grow out of some of these series? And it's like, no, they just changed in different ways. Like,
Right.
like aside from just the nostalgia trip, it just is. I don't know. It was just kind of comforting to see. It's like, oh no, like I still like this style of game. It's the game that changed. It's not me, kind of thing. But it's so nice to be able to, revisit this game. I think it's gorgeous. I love the update to it. The music is phenomenal.
So
Performance is the one thing that's spotty.
So Justin, I do want to bring Jeff into the conversation for that because I know that out of all of us, I think Jeff has the most criticism.
Jeff has the
about it.
most issue with it.
Yeah. And so Jeff, I was hoping you could maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk. I kind of actually, I had a good counterpoint to Justin's experience. I don't want to harp on performance too much. It was like noted in all the reviews and stuff like that. And I mean, it is what it is. It's bad. It's
I have not noticed. I have not.
A lot of people haven't. It just depends.
If you
how
don't notice,
you are.
don't just be
Yeah.
happy you don't notice it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
And I've played lots of games that run like ass, but like a game running between 20 and 30 is different than a game flipping between 30 and 60 for people that can tell the difference. It's
headache inducing.
It's hard to explain. But what I wanted to talk about with comparison to Justin is, I've never played hardly any of the Zelda series. I've definitely never played Link's Awakening. Breath of the Wild was the first game I ever finished. And I really loved Breath of the Wild, and I wasn't really expecting to because the entire release up to it, I was watching the videos like, this world looks just like fucking boring and empty. What the hell do you do here? They've lost all their focus, and I just couldn't put the game down. I just played it every single day, every spare minute. And I bounced off the 2D games that I tried. I had a 3DS a long time ago, and I tried A Link Between Worlds. I put in like 3 hours, and it was good, but like I just put it down one day, and I never felt that like need to pick it back up and play it again. So I am interested to see how I react to this game, but I don't really like. I just did the first dungeon. Like I don't have.
So
I haven't done
If
anything.
Breath of the Wild is your base for what you want out of a Zelda game, this will flummox you. I think.
probably, yeah. So like,
I mean, I wouldn't like that. That's not to say that's the only thing I like from Zelda. I've played very little. I played like 3 hours of Ocarina of Time, 3 hours of Link Between Worlds, and then Breath of the Wild. So like, I don't really know what I like and don't like in a Zelda game, and I'm going in with an open mind, and I'm enjoying what I'm playing so far. But like, everyone's got like this like, oh my god, this game, and I'm just playing it. I'm like, it's a cute little Zelda game, and like everything Reb said, it's adorable. Like the the art style and stuff like that. But like, I'm not like, my mind isn't blown yet. It's just a good game, and I'm just gonna see where it goes. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm with you. Like my mind is
right.
not blown by this. I think it is sweet and wonderful and peaceful, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But this is not like my game of the year. This is not like my game of all time. I mean, I just like it. I like it a lot. Like that's really it. I mean, I also played Goose Game this weekend, and I like it's funny. I have trouble ranking games because I feel very different categories of things about them, and I think Goose Game does like. Just as a concept, like the fact that it exists is just this very unique and interesting thing. And Link's Awakening is not surprising in any particular way, but it's so nice. It's so nice and cozy.
I wanted to back you up on the art style too, because it's, you know, there's so much push on photorealistic graphics, and they definitely have their place. Like Last of Us would be a little bit different if it was cel shaded, but like when I played, I had a Wii U and I played Wind Waker on that Wii U again for the first time. I didn't play that much of it, but like I was like, this looks fucking amazing. And then I saw the Twilight Princess like HD port, and I was like, this kind of looks like butt.
It does look like butt. It looks terrible.
It looks like bloody butt.
The Twilight Princess
Bloom the game. Yeah.
Like I know it has a different aesthetic. It's a little grimier, a little darker, and stuff like that. But like, just I feel like those stylized art styles can they age a lot easier than the other types. So
that's why all those sprite-based RPGs are still like fine to look at years later, because like, you know, we weren't trying to make them look super realistic.
So I real quick, I want to thank Engage Family Gaming for the 2-month sub. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I also want to point out that Glorious War right now is the weekly top cheer. If people are gonna let this stand in chat, then by all means. But if somebody wants to try to take Glorious War down, feel free. Let's start cheering in there.
Jeff Grubb, my goodness.
What did Jeff Grubb do? I want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely,
yeah. Jeff. You know what? I can see that. I can see it. I can see it.
Jeff, there was an opportunity in Twilight Princess.
Why did I bring it up? Why do I bring anything up? If I bring something up, everybody runs with it. That's the podcast.
Link's a wolf, and he hangs out with those Yetis who love soup in the middle of that game. I think they could have had a good time together. Just a nice time. Not an inappropriate.
The last thing I'll say about Link's Awakening, and we can move on to a Goose Game, is that it's actually my new favorite 2D Zelda. Link's Awakening would have been my favorite had it looked like Link to the Past, which I also just love. I'm a huge Zelda guy.
Wait, what?
What? Yeah, I don't.
So like.
I think you just mixed up some names of games there. Say that again.
So I had always imagined a Link's Awakening, but with like a Link to the Past style graphics. I'd always wanted a remake of this, just with better visuals.
Okay.
And I got it, and I got to tell you, it's my favorite 2D Zelda now. Just because it's literally exactly what I wanted.
Oh, okay.
And I could not be happier. And apparently the game is selling amazingly well. So, which means that we're probably going to get another 2D Zelda remake. If I was a betting man, and if I was a betting man, it would probably be the Oracle games. Yep.
The Oracle games getting remade would be awesome.
No. So here's a real question: do you think
have Capcom do it again?
I think so.
Flagship? Well, Flagship no longer exists.
Do you think they would, or do you think that they would make a new one?
I think
like a new top-down.
Reb, I think the demand for a remake would be too strong because
Nintendo never does whatever. Okay, I mean, I know you all love Link's Awakening, but realistically, before this was announced, were any of you yelling on Twitter every fucking Nintendo Direct for a remake of Link's Awakening?
I mean,
no.
But now that it's there,
left field fucking thing. They're not gonna do.
They're
not gonna do anything you want them to do. They're just not.
That's true. But now that it's there, but now that it's there, people are literally like, you can see like, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, do the Oracle games. Like,
they're not gonna do it. No.
I would love it if they did it, but I can also see a new 2D Zelda.
The whole like Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons thing works so well with the Pokemon format. I don't know.
If they remake,
those are words that no one has ever said, Brandon. Oh, it worked great in the format where we sell 2 games that are different colors and are basically the same but slightly different.
So blame.
It's the best money-making scheme in video games.
So
I mean, the Oracle Ages and Seasons are 2 entirely different games, though.
By the way,
I haven't played them. I was just commenting that Brandon's sentence is not something anyone has ever said.
No, it's just like the way people will buy both Pokemon games.
There's a cheer war going on in chat right now, by the way, and it's crazy to see.
Rar just ended it.
Rar just destroyed everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Blaine Anderson in chat wants to know what if they just remake A Link to the Past? And no, they won't. I don't.
No, they
think
made
they'll.
Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
All right.
That was it.
Here's what I'm gonna say. They're gonna do for remakes.
Okay.
So everybody forgets that the director of Ocarina of Time was also the director of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. And when they did the 3DS remake, and they were talking to him about, like, oh, do you want to do any more of these remakes? Eiji Aonuma was like, oh, well, surely we'll move on to Majora's Mask. And the director was like, I kind of want to go back to my old number 2 and try to do that again, the side-scrolling. Hell yeah, do that.
No.
Do weird side-scrolling Zelda again. Please.
No.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm gonna do before we move on real quick to Goose Game is
Tell Anthony to take about 20% off.
I am gonna gift a sub to somebody before the end of the night.
Yeah, do it.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna tell you who it is. I'm gonna pick one at random, but I'm gonna gift a sub.
No, you know
to
what,
somebody.
Anthony? You know what, Anthony? I bet that would actually. You know what? If they remade that, I bet they would remake it well. I bet it'd be good.
Holy shit!
God
And Pollock
damn it.
Soil with a cheer in chat. Jesus.
Holy shit!
All right. All right.
Sorry,
so
John. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I think we've kind of beat Link's Awakening to the ground. We're all really enjoying it, except for Jeff, really.
Jeff's enjoying it. He said he
well, no,
was
that's
enjoying
He's
fair.
it.
not that
Yeah,
far
he's
into
enjoying
it.
He's not gonna fucking lick it like you guys are, but
I'm not
he
licking
likes
it. I would never. I downloaded it. Hey Reb, if I wanted to lick Link's Awakening, I'd have to lick.
Don't.
I'd have to lick my Switch
No,
because it's
keep the
downloaded
Switch.
onto the.
Keep your Switch in your giant pants pocket where it can apparently fit, and let's move on.
Okay. Anyway, Untitled Goose Game. Untitled Goose Game. Reb, why don't you lead us in a little Untitled Goose Game discussion?
Untitled Goose Game honks. It's so good.
It honks.
It on.
It does honk. I beat it. I beat it actually before I started on Link's Awakening. It's not long. It's like 2 hours if you're just barreling through it. 3
really?
hours.
Is it that short? Really?
Oh, it's super short. I mean, so Justin said he's having a little bit of trouble with it. I think if you're like the kind of person who is good at the kinds of puzzles that game presents you, it's like 2 to 3 hours long. It might take you a little bit longer.
It's one of those. It's just one of those games that like my brain doesn't work quite the right way
No,
for.
it's like fine. Like everybody has their.
and it's very difficult. So I haven't gotten very far at all into it yet.
No, the speedrun's great. The speedrun's like 4 minutes long, I think, at this point. But anyway, so if you have somehow not been on Twitter and missed Untitled Goose Game, it is the latest title from House for the people who made Push Me Pull You. It's a game where it's a beautiful day in the village, and you are a horrible goose, and you just you can flap, you can honk, you can pick things up and carry them around, and that's all you can do. You have a task list of things you can do to annoy the people around you, and you do those things. They're just these random humans in a quaint little British countryside village, and you just drive them up the wall, and it's just darling. Twitter's just been full of memes all week. It's been just the absolute best, because the whole goal is just to be extremely obnoxious, and it's short. You get through. There's like 4 kind of little areas that you go through with a little to-do list in each one. You finish it. There's one final kind of. There's a finale of sorts that I don't want to spoil because I think a lot of the people who are here haven't finished it yet. And then after the finale, there's more things you can do on top of that. And people it's just delightful. There are so many stupid things you can do just by picking up items and running around and honking and flapping and annoying people. Like I can't even like explain this. I don't want to explain this to people because I want you to just play it. Like it's so short that explaining even one of the game's very good jokes kind of takes away a whole moment for you. If you have somehow just ignored Untitled, I can't like fathom that anybody would feel badly about making the decision to pick this up, or at least watching a really good like let's play of it from someone who you like to watch. Like it's just, my God, I love it so much.
Reb, real quick, you should just scroll up the chat and see all the goose stuff people have been spamming.
I know.
It's
so good. I'm not gonna lick the goose, Shane. What the hell?
This is the good shit. This
so
is
good. I was telling them before the podcast started, the thing that I really like about it is, I mean, if you've seen me on the podcast before, follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm really into like mostly non-violent games, really like chill, relaxing, peaceful, cute experiences usually. And I really like this because I think we all maybe secretly have a desire to be a little mischievous or ridiculous or obnoxious sometimes and just kind of like vent that out a little bit. But we also like don't necessarily want to do that by like murdering people. And so this is a really nice this is nice for me because I can like fulfill this desire to just be kind of loud and flappy and just horrible for a little bit. But it's all, I mean, I know people like bring up the boy that is like terrorized by you, but for the most part, you're just kind of annoying and everybody sort of shoos you on. And I think the game has kind of an implication that by the end of it, that you have been a mainstay in this village for a little while and everyone's just sort of used to you. I mean, the fact that they have like these no goose signs just sort of sitting like behind the walls that they just pull out and set up.
The fucking
Y'all, okay, y'all have already played this game. I don't need to talk about y'all. Goose Game's great. Goose Game fucking honks. It's so good.
Tokyo Mirage
I can't right now.
Tokyo Geese sessions.
Rev, as much as you said that it's just like the most precious thing in the world and it's lovely, like we said before the show started, I think that the most magical thing about this game is more than any open world game I've ever seen, more than every GTA combined. Untitled Goose Game brings out the secret bastard in everyone's mind.
Oh, it does. And actually, I said this on the show last week, but I did an interview with House before launch. And one of the things they said was that when they were developing this, one of their early kind of prototypes was a more GTA style game. You were kind of like a town, like fair sort of thing. And there were just lots of like kind of randomly generated people walking around. And your goal was to just cause chaos and Goose Theft Auto. Basically, just like really flapping funny. Around and being ridiculous, and it turned into a more like,
see, I think it's so a more
deliberate experience.
Like making it so deliberate and making it so precise.
Yes,
makes it. I think this is the best comedy video game ever made.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's
really funny.
A lot of people who like love old things like Tim Schafer adventures, like Monkey Island and all that stuff. I think there's a distinction to be drawn between games where people say funny things, where it's like a traditional language-based comedy, and a game where the game itself is the joke. Funny.
Yes.
Right, like that's where the humor is. And I can only point to a few things that are even close to this funny, like Donut County, the original Katamari Damacy, amazing humor in those, but none of them that compare to this. Like you made reference to the fact that there's a sort of grand conclusion you can play past, and I think it's the most magical punchline I've ever seen.
You've beaten it too?
I just sat in my office just like sitting there like cackling.
Oh my god!
By myself,
and it's great. It's great because if you've been paying attention, the minute you see the thing pop up, you know exactly where it's going, and you're like, "Holy shit, we're doing it!"
Yes, it's amazing.
Oh my gosh! I'm so happy. I'm sorry. I love this game.
There's an interesting phenomenon around Untitled.
It's a good joke,
right? Like, and I just want to so I played an hour of the game and I really love it. Vicky is like the first. No,
stupid.
Please don't. Like the first night Vicky played it, like I was playing my Switch and I was playing Link's Awakening, and she was at the other end of the couch playing Untitled Goose Game, and all I heard for like 10 minutes was just like honk 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 honk. She didn't actually do anything in the game. She was just walking around honking, and I looked up at her, and her face literally was like.
I think also
she was like, Rev, she was like, look at his little walk and his tail goes like that, and I was like, yeah, I know, he's cute.
I also like, so I kind of want to jump off what Anthony said about why this game is funny. There was a trailer that went around shortly. It was shortly before launch. It wasn't the launch trailer, but there's a trailer for this game that I thought was just really, really wildly funny. It was the one that was announcing the launch date, and I got this under embargo a week before it came out, and it came into my inbox on the day that the people behind what's that fucking game? Ion Maiden, that thing. Or is that the game with the gay joke?
Yep.
Yeah, that one. That had gone around, and that was the day that they put that stupid fucking statement out about how, we don't censor our jokes. It was basically like this implication that having a bottle of Olay body wash spelled as gay was some kind of highbrow humor, like some kind of artistic integrity that needed to be protected. And it was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. And then I get this trailer in my inbox, and I watch this trailer, and I'm like, no, this is funny. This is actually funny. Video games can be funny, and your gay body wash is not funny, and this goose is funny. And
I actually have
It's
a
just
question.
important. I want more funny video games that are actually funny.
So I have a question for everybody, actually. So this game has become actually kind of like a social media phenomenon. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but literally,
Daniel Ortberg fucking wrote an article about it. Daniel Ortberg is Dear Prudence at Slate.
Chrissy
Why is
Teigen.
Daniel Ortberg writing articles about
Chrissy
the Goose Game?
Teigen is tweeting about Untitled Goose Game. So I wanted to know, like, what is it about this game that is capturing people's attention? Because it's just, I've never seen. It's been a while anyway. I won't say never, but it's been a while since I've seen this kind of a reaction to an indie game. And it seems like this game is dominating the conversation right now, and I think it's really great. I was just wondering why. Like what is it about Untitled Goose Game? Justin, go ahead.
I mean, I think it's just everybody knows geese are assholes. Everybody. That is it. That is a universal experience. I mean, it's cute. It's not violent. Like, literally everybody can find it funny. Like, I've seen people talking about how their kids have been playing it and they're just running around honking and they think it's hilarious. Like, it just has a very, very wide appeal. And it's around a concept that everybody can immediately get. It's like, oh yeah, you play as a goose and you're an asshole. All right, I got it. You walk around and honk at people. Like, it's just like, there's nothing alienating about it. There's like, no one feels ostracized. No one feels like the butt of a joke. Like, it's just something that I think a lot of people can relate to. And I think it's also different from a lot of the games that get a lot of press. Like, we're like, last week we talked for a while about, Modern Warfare, which is probably going to be one of the biggest games this year. And that's the sort of thing that makes headlines. But all of a sudden it's like, oh, guess what? Here's a game where you're just an obnoxious goose. Like, and I think it just resonates with a lot of people. So sorry, go ahead.
No, Justin, no, Justin, you're fine.
It's good for the streaming culture, much like
yeah, that too.
Yeah, what was the game? I'm forgetting it even now, but it was just like a few years ago with what the fuck was it?
Was it
like
the
with the weird
one?
physics? Oh, Goat Simulator.
Oh, Goat Simulator.
Yeah, it's like right in the same like ballpark.
And like getting over it.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, kind of what Justin said. It's very and I just chat too. It's digestible very quickly. Like, if you see a screenshot or a little clip, you instantly understand what's going on. You instantly understand there's a goose and a person. Like, there's this one screenshot from like really early on, like after the game was announced, that all it is the gardener who is standing, that there's kind of like post in the first area, and the ghost is standing there, and he's looking kind of perplexed, and he has a thought bubble above his head for keys. And then on the other side of the post, you see the goose's head peeking out from behind the post, holding the keys in his bill. You instantly understand what's happening in this thing. It's like the screenshot is the joke, and it's funny. And it's like, I'm thinking about taking this home. I'm going back to my hometown to see my parents here in a couple of weeks, and I'm thinking of taking it and showing my mom. And my mom is a retired music teacher, and so I think like the classical music is going to be interesting to her. But I also like it's very difficult for my parents to relate to what I do for a living. But I think this is the kind of thing I could show them about. Of all the video games I've ever played, this is probably the one that I could show my mom and be like, this is what I do, and you might like this.
Yeah,
that's actually that's a really good idea. I might actually show it to my mom too.
Yeah, like
Anthony, what were you saying?
I was saying it translates to everyone. Like that's why has it broken through? It's not just like, Reb, you're absolutely right. Everybody can understand it instantly, but it appeals to everyone. I have a 3-year-old, and I have not been able to keep her away from it. She gets home from daycare, it's just like, Goose Game! Goose Game! Goose Game!
Oh my goodness.
And she loses her mind. And the thing is she just wants to watch it. Like, she understands how to play, but she just wants to see what the goose will do to people. And I think that's what distinguishes Goose Game from things like Goat Simulator or Surgeon Simulator or some of like the janky, weird indie games that blew up in streamer culture, because those games, a lot of the comedy comes from the fact that they're broken.
That they're broken, right? Exactly.
Right, and this is precise. Like, this is one of the few games that I've ever played where I'm willing to say it's a perfect game in execution.
So I've got a theory about this as well. I think a lot of this, I mean, aside from the fact it's just a good game, there's so much shit happening in this country right now, especially. You know, sometimes it feels like the country's just bursting into flames. Everything's falling down. You know, and amidst all the, you know, all the modern warfares and all the Mortal Kombats, like all of a sudden everybody's like, everything seems dark and violent and, you know, everything is just kind of depressing right now because we, as a country, are facing an uncertain future. And here's this game where I'm just a goose. I'm just a goose and I'm waddling around and I'm taking sandwiches from people and I'm playing tricks on people, and it's wholesome and it's pure and it's kind of just what I need in today's environment. And I think honestly that is a big reason for why this game has kind of caught fire on social media the way it has. I could be wrong, but at least that's kind of like my idealistic way of looking at it. But I played about, like I said, I played about an hour of it, and I am you know, I'm gonna try to finish it up this weekend. With you know, that'll be tough with, you know, Dragon Quest 9 or 11, sorry, coming out tomorrow and everything. But I am gonna planning on finishing up Goose Game. Reb, you mentioned actually that this game has there's a post game.
There is
actually, like I was not expecting that.
There is a set of tasks. So you have your to-do list that has the tasks for each area that you get as you progress. There's a hidden list. There's actually like 3 total hidden lists for just across the different areas of the game. And you can't see them when you're playing through it normally. But do you mind if I say one of them just by example?
Yeah.
So one of the very, very early ones that you do is to lock the gardener out of the garden. And if you do, that's not anywhere on your to-do list, but if you do it, then it will suddenly appear and it'll get crossed off. And then you open up your list and you see to do also in parentheses, and you get like a hit, like you see the one you crossed off and then you see just a bunch of like blanks. So there's a bunch of hidden ones. And then after you beat the game, after you see the credits roll, they all appear for you. So you know what they are, and then you can finish them. There's like, I think 2 lists of them that are normal. And then 1 list that is to do quickly, which you have to you don't have to restart a new file, but you have to like exit out of your file and then restart, and then you like do them very quickly and you get those crossed off. And then there's kind of like 1 final checklist that's just do everything.
Hold on, Blaine Anderson in chat says, "Can I link a Goose Game joke from Twitter?" Yeah, you don't need to ask our permission. Do it, please.
There's no porn. Whoever said porn? No porn.
No porn. But a joke, sure. But no, please don't link porn in the chat. We would appreciate if you didn't do that.
There's a joke there I'm not gonna make.
I don't. No. Yeah, no.
I think I know.
Yeah, I think I know where Reb is going too.
We're not talking about that.
No,
Tonight.
definitely not going there.
Nope.
And I'm gonna prevent Anthony from going there.
No, we're not going there.
I thought about it like 6
I know you
times
have, Anthony. I know you have. We'll go ahead and move on from unless Brandon and Jeff, did you guys want to cut in on Goose Game at all? I know Brandon, I know you haven't played it, and Jeff, I don't know if you've touched it yet.
No, yeah, I got my own thing I'm playing, but I'll let I think Brandon's got something he wanted to talk
Oh
about.
yeah, Brandon has something he wants to talk about.
Brandon!
We're going back a few. We're gonna go back a few.
Oh, I've been
love
really,
and I know Anthony's gonna appreciate this too.
Let's jump in our 2017 time machine here and go back to a time when a game called Nier Automata came out, and I said I didn't care about it and didn't want to play it. And here I am 2.5 years later. Humbly, hat in hand,
watching YouTube essays.
I have crossed a Grand Canyon of game content since the last time we talked about. So like, what was last Thursday? I was like, let's say 2/3 through Route A. So anybody who's played this game knows 2/3 through Route A is like, that's fucking nothing.
He's a baby.
You ain't seen shit.
Yeah.
So I finished since last show. I finished B, C, D, and E. So I've seen it all. I've seen everything.
You went the distance.
I went the distance. Yeah.
I don't care about giving spoilers for this game at this point because it's like 2 years old.
It's almost 3.
Yeah. I loved watching your progression and like yelling about it in the DM that we have together. There was one point where Brandon was like, he said something like, if anything happens to Pascal, I'm gonna quit playing. And I'm just like, oh God, you poor child.
I was just like, oh no.
It was so much worse than I ever could have. So
all this for a couple hundred humans.
Only for a couple hundred humans on the moon. I'm like, oh God,
The game took me for a ride the entire way. I was trying to I was paying attention. I was trying to think about it. I was thinking okay, what's the cost of this war, this proxy war between the machines and the androids? And I'm like, oh, it's a couple hundred humans still left alive on the moon. Well, okay, let's say it goes places, all right? I mean, so you find out very early on that the essential gods of the machines are dead, and then later on you find out the essential gods of the androids are dead, and they're just fighting each other for no reason. It's like it goes, but Pascal, right? There's the part the
I
whole
love
becoming
Pascal.
gods. Pascal is an amazing character.
Oh yeah,
With
there's
the-
a third choice for Pascal, right?
Yeah, well, okay, I did not when I was playing the game, and I realized it afterwards. Yes.
Yeah.
In a very similar way to the way Spec Ops: The Line let you choose without explicitly telling you, you could choose to not shoot the civilians and just let them leave. In Nier, you can also just walk away from Pascal and leave him to his trauma.
His what? Yeah, his.
But that's the thing. So in that scene when you're first going into the factory and you're meeting the religious robots, I was like, this doesn't seem right. If anything, I just need to protect Pascal. No matter what happens, we need to get out of the factory with Pascal still alive. And it was so much worse than I ever could have possibly.
That game, I just remember the experience of going through it because I had no idea what to expect from it, but I picked it up, kind of on a whim at launch, and I was going through it, and I couldn't stop playing it because just what it was doing with storytelling, both in how the narrative is constructed and what was happening was so engaging. But that game gave me a fucking existential crisis while playing it.
The second half of the game is just attempting you. Yeah, no, it's 15 hours of why am I alive? What am I?
Yeah, and then
why am I playing video games on this earth? What is the reason for all of this?
And then I think about the time, the third time, I saw, the ending and heard the credit song, I'm singing along, in tears with it, that game
chorus of
yeah. Oh,
I don't even want to talk too much about the ending because there are people who still haven't played this game. This game, you need to play it whenever. If you play this game for the first time in 2030, good for you. There's no bet this game will be good for decades to come.
Brandon, I'm telling you right now. So a little while ago, back when the soundtrack first came out, I was on my phone, I put a bunch of contemporary music and game music on there whenever I'm running, and I'm just running along, I'm jogging, and all of a sudden, Become as Gods starts playing, and I literally started running twice as I was whoa, I got so fucking motivated.
Become as Gods.
Yeah.
Become as.
It was
I've never played any other video game that was as earnest to show you something new and something unexpected and something that wants to twist something that you had already confirmed in your mind as a fact or as a reality. And you can't spoil the game because it is just a collection of plot twists all wrapped onto top of each other without becoming confusing or overwhelming at any point. You're always very clear what is going on in the game, even though it's messing with timelines and shit, and it just, I don't know, I was so amazed that it never became convoluted or confusing.
Brandon,
I will say playing it makes perfect sense, but trying to explain it to other people is not a good idea. I have a book on the works of Yoko Taro that I've read, and there's it's the 3rd edition's book, and there's a large section of it that is dedicated to explaining the plots to
just a bunch of nonsense,
to all three
Drakengard and Nier.
Yeah, to all 3 Dragonguards plus the 2 Nier games, and oh lordy, you can't. Don't even try. It's a disaster. I have a bunch of ideas of what happens in Drakengard. I have a bunch of ideas of what happens in those games bouncing around in my head. None of them make any fucking sense.
Hey, real quick,
What's up, John?
John
was going to say something.
Real quick, I want to say,
or Anthony.
After this podcast is over at 10:30, please go over to Imran's channel and support him if you can while he's streaming, because he's a great guy and he deserves your support. We would very much appreciate that. Anthony, go ahead.
Brandon, it's funny. I don't think it's a spoiler to ask this question because the choice is meaningless unless you've played the game. but at the end, what choice did you make? What did you do in your final choice?
Yeah, I didn't even have to think twice about
You
it.
didn't even have to think twice. Yeah.
I
'Cause if you get there-
absolutely sacrificed my save file.
Yeah.
Without thinking about it, and
Yeah.
I put
Yep.
a lot of effort into the message that I left for the potential next player that
Me
will.
too. Me too.
You know, like I didn't take it lightly. I didn't just be like, okay, like select things. Like I just want this game to be over. Like no, like I was in the moment, like 100%. Like the whole, like ending D or ending C, D, and E, like everything that goes there. I was just like 100% in it. I played like on the day that I finished it, I probably played like 8 hours straight. It was just like nonstop, just like waiting to see the next moment.
God,
And
this
so
is
when
making me want to play it again, Brandon.
Yeah, me too.
I
Wait for
want to
that
play it
Switch
again. I just
port,
beat it
man.
4 days ago.
Especially since I don't have my save file anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like,
Uh,
if I want to start it over again, I got to start it over again.
So,
But
Brandon, do you want to go and play Nier now? I mean, don't play Drakengard.
No, I don't.
want to tell everyone don't play Drakengard.
well, here's the
Aren't
thing,
you
like,
actually trying to play Drakengard?
Yeah, I
went the
downloaded.
distance.
I downloaded a PlayStation 3 emulator and ISO of Drakengard 3. Unfortunately, I can't. So it actually runs really well on the emulator. Like it runs 30 FPS with VSync, which I've seen videos of the PlayStation 3 version of Drakengard 3. It runs at like 10 FPS with the worst screen tearing I think I've ever seen in any video game ever.
It's bad.
But it keeps freezing and crashing, so I can't play it. Like,
yeah, don't play any of the Drakengards. Don't waste your time. Like in the first 10 minutes of Drakengard 3, a dragon wets itself.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
at
got to that
moment,
part. I've
You've
played
seen it
about
all.
the first 15 minutes of Drakengard 3.
Okay, which is the one where the secret ending is like the hardest rhythm game that ever existed?
I don't know
Two?
anything
Yeah,
about that.
that's
Two.
two.
I think that's
two.
Two
Yeah.
was the one that was not by Yoko Taro.
Wow, I got that
Yoko
right by reading the really confusing
You
book.
did, Rev.
So wow.
Do play Nier. Play the original Nier. It's not as fun.
It's
as
nowhere
Automata.
near as good as Nier.
So if I
Automata.
don't have old last gen consoles plugged in, is it emulation? Is it?
I think
it runs on
backwards compatible on Xbox One. If
I
you
don't
can
own an
find
Xbox One. Emulation is my only option. Really.
Yeah, well, I honestly think that there are good enough 360 emulators.
I think the
at this point.
PS3 version runs well.
Yeah, I think you can get that up and
Yeah,
running.
I'll try.
And it's worth going through.
Like I want to know who Emil is. So if you've never played original Nier, your first introduction to Emil in Automata is him just rolling into the ball and
It's a
saying,
car.
"Hey guys, what's up?" And you're like, "What the who's this guy?" And then he rolls away, and then the only time you see him again after that is just to sell items. Obviously, like Emil is on the cover of the original Nier. He's like one of the major characters of the game. Yoko Taro wears the Emil mask. Like I know that Emil is like a major character in the universe, but you get nothing of his character in Automata. So yeah, like I'm definitely interested in seeing what the original Nier has.
I
for the
also
universe.
really recommend going on YouTube and watching the subtitled video of the Yorha stage play.
Yeah,
I already watched it, my dude. I already watched it.
It is
I've already watched it.
My additional recommendation is to go on YouTube and listen to the fucking live concert.
I
of the
did that as
music.
well.
Oh
I did that
my
as well.
god. Absolutely. Those singers. Holy
Insane.
shit. I mean,
Yeah,
the
they're so
soundtrack is good in the game, but like hearing, I sat there, I just sat there and watched the whole thing. Like I didn't
Yeah,
even
they're
do
crazy.
anything else. It's
They're
so
going
good.
wild with it.
So I want to, Brandon, unless you've got anything else to say on Nier Automata.
I don't know. Like I
if you
feel
do,
like
speak
it
on
is
it.
absolutely one of the craziest, wildest, most unexpected, and delightful game experiences I've ever had in my entire life.
That makes me happy to hear. And now we got to get Jeff on that Nier Automata because Jeff tried it.
And that's the only closing statement I want to say is don't make my mistake. Don't write the game off. Don't think you don't have to play it if you're interested in that style of game. Because like I love RPGs. I love platinum action games. Like why was I trying to convince myself I didn't play it? I don't fucking know. So don't be me.
Don't be a Brandon.
Don't be
Play
Play
Nier
the
Automata.
goddamn game and get to the ending E. Like that's all.
Jeff, how about it,
Straight
man?
I played the game. I don't know.
I thought you didn't play it.
I
Oh
did
no,
play
he
it.
played it. He
I
played
tweeted
it 'cause I
my
remember.
playthrough.
I remember I was
I thought he
one of the
didn't play
people. No, I was one of the people egging him on. I'm like, oh, just keep going. It'll click for you.
Oh, and it never
Jeff-
clicked, huh?
Didn't.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you also say earlier you didn't like Breath of the Wild?
No,
I
that's
love
me.
Breath of the Wild.
No,
Justin-
Okay, sorry. I
Justin's
think okay, because I was gonna say if you don't like either of those games, what fucking games do you like? What's left?
To be clear,
Goose
I
Game,
think
guess.
I think Nier's a good game, and I did enjoy a large part of my time with it. I just had my problem was and like some of this is me being picky. I didn't like the voice actors or the delivery of the characters. So like when you don't like the characters or the way that they talk, it's really hard to get invested in the story, right? And in those characters and in what happens to them. So that was just kind of, I think the rest of the game was fine. That was just kind of the one thing I could never get past was just something about that was maybe just my own like personal problem. But it was good. I respect everything that Brandon said. The presentation was really good. I like the way they switch up the gameplay styles and they do a lot of cool stuff with camera. Like it's a very well put together game. It just didn't quite land for me. But
Also, I'm just a complete sucker for like insanely well orchestrated like music. The way it's like dynamically put into like obviously I loved the way Doom 2016 did things with its dynamic soundtrack. Holy fucking shit. Nier Automata is the absolute best example of like music intertwined with gameplay
God,
that I have
it's so
ever seen.
good.
Fucking like the opera boss, like the best boss of the
Ooh, yeah.
game.
Oh,
Like
I love the
fucking
opera
when the
boss.
choir kicks in and like the crescendo of the vocals kicks in, she starts shooting out fucking lasers all over the place. Like it is perfect.
So I want to move on to some. We had some really good questions from
hey,
people on social media.
Do we want to do those, or do we want to let Justin talk about The Last of Us? Justin really wanted to talk about The Last of Us.
Justin, did you want to talk about The Last of Us?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
Plus there's also a bit of an update on some of the news that just came out during the show. So, we had the big kind of re-reveal for The Last of Us Part 2. It is releasing February 21st. We got our first look at Joel. We got a little bit more look at the gameplay. We got impressions from quite a few journalists. We also got confirmation it is going to be a 2-disc game and there will not be any multiplayer. They did release a statement actually just a few minutes ago about the multiplayer mode saying, the focus was on the story for launch, but eventually you will, we're committed to the Last of Us factions experience, and eventually you will see the fruits of the multiplayer. So it sounds like there might be something coming separately later for that. But yeah, it looks great. I was definitely one of those people that was a little bit skeptical when they initially announced a sequel, but the way that they have been talking about this one makes me really excited. They're keeping a lot under wraps. But I've been reading a number of the interviews, especially with Haley Gross, who has been brought on to be the with Neil Druckmann for this one. And she said a lot of things that she really seems to get it.
Are you talking about the Eurogamer interview?
Kotaku and a couple other ones are the ones I was looking at.
Eurogamer was the one I read.
She's had several different ones where she said different things, but yeah, I'm extraordinarily excited for that game. The first one is in my top 2. I can never decide between what my number 1 is, so I just have a top 2. So I'm very excited to see where it goes. Like, Ellie is probably my favorite game character ever, and I'm really excited to see her in a leading role, and I really want to see where this game goes.
I think it's really good. It's not my kind of game. A lot of to me,
it's the most not Reb game.
I think it's really funny. Like I've had so many people recommend The Last of Us to me, and like I considered it multiple times, but then when I got to the point where it's like very violent, I'm like, I mean that's like fine. Again, I have like nothing against that type of game. It's just not my kind of thing, so I'm not really sure why everyone recommends it to me. But so I have no stake in this argument, but I do think the thing that got me, there was that conversation around the trailer about, you know, potentially fridging a gay protagonist, which is frustrating. And I think like the one comment I would want to add to that is, even if it turns out that they don't actually fridge her in the game, it was kind of a crummy thing to do in the trailer. Like even as a thing in the trailer, like to just play it off for shock value. Because it is like, it's like a trope, right? And it's one that the like community has been pushing back on for a little while. In games, we don't see a lot of gay protagonists, and I know you said, and I read the Eurogamer interview. Haley Gross is, you know, saying that they have taken time to like develop, you know, 3-dimensional characters, like really a really meaningful story. And I kind of wish the trailer had used something else. I've heard some other criticisms about the trailers too, that like the things that they have decided to show in the trailers have been just very odd choices. Which
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is in general.
I have a few things to say on both of those. One,
Yeah.
about the whole fridging thing. There's almost no way I think anything happened to Dinah at this point.
It just
Naughty
wasn't
Dog.
great to tease that kind of thing in the trailer, though.
I think it's just entirely a misdirection thing. Naughty Dog, especially for the first Last of Us and for Uncharted 4, they make scenes just for the trailers, and they completely like they tease character deaths that don't happen.
I know.
And so like at this point, I think it's more likely that
I know
Dinah,
they do it with like everybody.
yeah,
but it's just
like I don't know. I have a whole thing about that conversation that's just very frustrating. I won't get into it right now. But part of it, I always want to wait till the text of the thing is fully available before we get into it.
I agree. I do think that the people who are rubbed the wrong way about it have historically had a lot of good reasons to feel that way.
Oh yes,
and
I completely agree.
I even if that isn't the case, I think it was maybe sort of this isn't like a canceling kind of decision or anything, but it was just like I wish somebody had looked at that trailer and thought we might make some people upset with this in the kind of way that we don't want to make people upset. So
I mean,
maybe we do something different.
They were asked about it even last year at E3 because it was pretty obvious from what they were trying to set up like in the E3 trailer last year. And they said they're very aware of all the tropes and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a hard issue coming at it from a story construction standpoint. Like, I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic here, but like it's kind of reflects kind of on my issue with just trope-based criticism in general, where it's something that's used to illustrate a general trend, and it's very difficult to unpack it properly in the case of a singular story. And especially with The Last of Us, with it being a genre that's entirely based off of loss and death and the cycle of violence. Like, I think there's a lot of nuance with the way that Naughty Dog has handled a lot of these sorts of things, especially in this series. And that I think is, separate from it. And I don't know. I just want to wait till the actual game's out to really get into it. But
Justin, I think it's actually it's not just this game. I think people have forgotten that throughout the existence of Last of Us, Naughty Dog's marketing for this series and its trailers for these games have been horrific and awful since the original. People forget that E3 2012, one of the first times that anybody saw an extended gameplay session, was right at the beginning of Sony's big E3 2012 press conference, was Naughty Dog saying, like, we're going to show you, the brutal realism of Last of Us. And it was 6 minutes straight of Joel just clawing people to death with a hammer and choking them and shooting them. And it was vile. It was
and people
truly disgusting.
And and that's kind of that's another thing with the issue. There was another trailer. I actually haven't watched to this particular trailer in question because it was just a story cutscene taken out of context. But it was the Paris Games Week trailer that had a bunch of characters that we still don't know who they are, getting tortured. And it's the sort of thing that it feels very tasteless in marketing.
Yeah.
But when in the actual work itself,
Like
it's
Anthony's-
very thoughtful.
Yeah.
It's
And-
just a really fucking big bummer to be by and see a really fucking awesome smooch in a trailer one year and then come back and see the trailer the next year and see the person she smooched. It presumably, I have not played the game, but it appears to die in order to motivate the main protagonist. That's what it looks like in the trailer. Trailers are made to tease. So I'm looking at that and assuming that, and I'm like, wow, you know what? Great, fuck that. I'm not commenting on the game. This is played the game.
The
trailer's a choice. Could have made a different one.
I don't need to cut you off.
And also, sorry, go ahead, Anthony.
I was just gonna say the original game is filled with moments where it seems like Naughty Dog is drifting into just really grotesque exploitation. I feel like at this point the statute of limitations is up on spoilers for the original game.
Yeah.
But there's an entire chunk of the first game where Ellie is taken hostage by very unsavory people, and there is the threat of not just bodily violence, but cannibals. And she's threatened with bodily violence and sexual violence. And right when it seems that Naughty Dog has just veered off the course into tastelessness, they manage to save themselves with execution.
That scene where she finally kills David and then Joel comes over to her in complete silence. He's saying something to her that's probably very meaningful.
They just play the music
and we never hear what he says. I love that moment.
Sorry, I should also just really quick add not just a woman, not just a gay woman, but gay woman of color.
Yeah. And that is rough. It's rough that they did that. Like, why? Why show that? Why make the implication at all?
Because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the other issue with Last of Us is like one thing that I noticed when I was playing before I started reading some of the criticism of it is just how important women were to the world of The Last of Us. There's probably more named women characters in The Last of Us than there are named male characters, even though there's a lot of random baddies, that are men in the game. But a lot of the characters in positions of power are women. Women are extraordinarily important to the world of The Last of Us. And that's part of the reason why I'm really glad that Gross has been brought on as a co-writer. Because with this kind of narrative, I'm really glad that there is a woman in the writing room. And she said she came in right away and started making, pretty sweeping changes to the script once she got brought on. And
how many writers are on this game?
Two writers. Yep.
Okay.
And she's made a lot of quotes about how she wants this to be a story about resilience, not just one of pain, which I think is really important. Like a lot of her comments today really kind of made me feel a whole lot more confident in the direction that they're going for this game.
So I don't want to. I do want to be able to answer at least one or two questions before we go. Justin, that was great though. Thank you for talking about The Last of Us 2, man. And I agree with pretty much everything everybody has said, especially in regards to the trailer. Like I said, I do want to answer at least one or two questions before we go. Dottie, I don't think I can do this with you on my lap, baby. So I'm gonna need to let you down, okay? Okay, let's go. Oh, hold on, Dottie, I need you to get down. Get down. There you go. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Dottie. Thank you. She's been in the other room like crying the entire podcast. Okay. So we have one question from at @the_real_Pabe. I don't know how to pronounce that. But he wants to know, would you rather have a remaster giving a game like a new polish like Link's Awakening, or a remake completely changing the game like Final Fantasy VII Remake does? That's an interesting question. What do you guys think?
Depends on the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's the...
Yeah, like, I don't know, what game?
Well, I think there are merits to both, right? Like, so you take Link's Awakening, which is a beloved game, and then you take Final Fantasy VII, which is a beloved game. And, Link's Awakening, other than a fresh coat of paint and a new soundtrack and some control scheme reworks, is essentially the same game. But Final Fantasy VII is something like I mean, it's literally completely different. It's
I mean, nothing. Yeah, no remake has been attempted on that scale to blow
Yeah.
something.
I
Like,
think you're right.
imagine if they took like the original Resident Evil remake was like, oh, it's the first room of the mansion blown up into a fucking 10-hour game. Like,
And I think really the question here is if you when you look at Link's Awakening, people are really happy with it. With Final Fantasy VII, it looks amazing. It plays amazing. I've played it. Justin's played it. Jeff's played it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you did play it.
No,
Oh, okay,
I wasn't.
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
at
you were at
PAX.
PAX. I don't know. I'm tired, man.
I feel like I've played it. I mean, they put
Yeah.
out the demo. They put out the demo on YouTube.
But
Like, you
here-
see it all.
So let's frame the question this way: would you rather be getting what we're getting with the Final Fantasy VII remake and split into three different episodes, or would you rather just have a straight-on remake of Final Fantasy VII with these types of visuals?
I would rather have a remaster of Final Fantasy VI. Thank you.
Thank you, Reb. Reb has the best
So,
answer.
wait, hold on. So,
I
John,
don't care about Final Fantasy VII. This is the wrong question.
you're saying like a 35-hour remake that is just the full story of the original game.
Right, with these visuals.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not
no.
typically a fan of verbatim remakes.
Yeah, no, I want what
Uh,
they're doing.
Yeah, like the last time a game came out that was just such an exacting remake like Link's Awakening was, and this is kind of a deep cut, but the Wii remake of Klonoa Door to Phantomile, where it's just like it's the exact same thing. We just updated the visuals and we updated the soundtrack, and that's it. And I think that's if you're gonna do that, it's really boring. It's
And there
really
was
boring.
that they did that for the other Zelda game too, Wind Waker.
Yeah, Wind Waker,
Waker,
and like
yeah.
Wind Waker is more like a representation, right? It's like, well, this game wasn't played by enough people, so like, let's just make it pretty. And then,
Especially, sorry to cut you off, Anthony. Especially when you consider that Final Fantasy VII is available on PC.
sure.
You can play it on PS4,
Yep.
play it on Xbox One, you can play it on Switch. Like it's not like one of those long lost games that nobody is able to play. The original is out there for anyone who wants to go and play it.
Right, and like, and it's broadly accessible. It's cheap, and it's preserved in a wonderful way, like with all those like luxury quality of life features. I think that things like Resident Evil 2 this year are always far more interesting, where they completely reimagine
Yeah.
what the thing is while maintaining the spirit and the feel and just going in a different direction. I mean, like Nintendo is showing a lot more willingness to fully remake games than they have been in the past, and this is a lot more successful than like Metroid 2, the Samus Returns from a couple of years ago. This is like a much better remake, but like I want to see more things like Final Fantasy VII.
Justin, go ahead.
So I played the demo for the Medieval remake the other day,
Oh,
yeah.
and
I've heard things.
it sucks real bad.
Well, at least it's not. At least it's not as bad as Contra.
Yeah, like, well, Contra's another.
I love Contra Rogue Core. That's
Do
just
you?
me.
But you just love bad games, Anthony.
Okay.
I mean,
Sorry, I didn't mean. To
Okay.
You all love Breath of the Wild. You love bad games too.
Oh.
So, medieval. So the Medieval remake. So I played it, and like literally everything is exactly the same except for the graphics.
Oof.
That's bad.
Like animations, but like even the camera feels so uncomfortable to control. Like it feels like it's inverted no matter what you do, because
late
it's like
90s 3D cameras.
yeah,
was
it's
something
like
else, man.
because it doesn't control like you would expect a third person camera to control in a game in 2019.
I've heard
it,
some
like-
shit about this demo.
Like if you swing the sword, he just kind of shakes it back and forth in front of him. Like it literally is a PS1 game that looks like a recent release. Like
I've heard.
it needed work to be done to that game, and they didn't do it. And
And like when you
it's
take
not
that,
good.
when you take that and you put it next to something like a Link's Awakening, which it's got some frame rate issues, but aside from that, it's a great one-to-one remake of the old game. Like I think honestly, it's just going to depend on the game, and the person, right? Like I would have been happy with a one-to-one remake of Final Fantasy VII with these updated visuals. To be perfectly honest with you, like I love what they've done with the new game. But I've been just as happy. Like Final Fantasy VI, like Reb said, is a great example. I would love a remake of Final Fantasy VI with like those really crisp HD 2D visuals of Octopath Traveler. I would love that.
That's what I thought it was gonna be when the second Octopath Traveler appeared on the trailer thing. I think that may have been when they first teased that.
Yeah.
I think that may have been before I played Final Fantasy VI. I can't remember. No, I had played it at that point, but I looked at it and I immediately thought, wait, is this FF6? No,
I thought it was
that's
too
not
for a
right.
minute actually, but I was like, oh,
Those aren't the right characters.
Yeah. but yeah, no, it's an interesting question. I want to end on a really fun question that actually our friend Kyle Foley on Twitter asked. He wants us to rank the top 5 animals that need a game like Untitled Goose Game. And I thought this was good. Justin, go ahead.
Raccoon.
Oh yeah. All right.
I mean, Donut County kind of was it,
So
but
we
like,
need
I mean,
5.
I mean, like a real like. Hell, have it be like realistic Sly Cooper, where it's like a stealth game where it's the raccoon trying to get in and steal garbage.
Okay, so Untitled cat game.
Yes.
And the reason why it's cat is because like your goal is to be like as lazy as possible while also being annoying. So you like lay there and you have to wait for like the perfect opportunity when your human is like not looking and then just knock the glass off the table.
What if, or like walking down the stairs and you just dart between their legs and knock them down the stairs?
Yeah, shit like that. Shit like that.
Untitled cat. Jeff, give us an animal that needs a game.
I don't know. You'll have to come back to me.
Okay, all right. So how about seagulls?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Seagulls.
Oh, just going around shitting on everything.
Just
Absolutely.
shit on everything.
Stealing food,
Stealing
out of
hot
the
dogs.
hands
You
of
can steal hot
unsuspecting
dogs and
tourists.
food, just like Reb said, yep. And you go around shitting on everything, and the goal of each stage is to cover everything in as much seagull shit as possible.
I mean, you get
I really
built-in
don't think
promotion
though-
with the Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is a very good question, but I really think like thinking about this question, I really do think that House tapped into something here. I think geese might be the universally hated animal.
Yes.
Like if you did an Untitled
Yeah.
cat game, it wouldn't have the same effect because a lot of people really like cats. And yeah, it's funny they knock stuff down. We still love cats. Like the other ones you guys just said, like seagulls are really only an experience you have if you're on the coast. I mean, they're not. I'm in the Midwest. I've seen seagulls. I think they're annoying, but I don't have that connection to them. But we have all experienced asshole geese.
So in that case, Reb, then I propose set in the Middle Ages, Untitled rat game, where you're just a rat trying to spread the plague.
I mean, we have bad
Plague
rats,
Tale.
and
a
it's
plague
sequels.
spreading rat trying to, and instead of just being mischievous, you're literally trying to spread famine and destruction wherever you go.
So they should just remake Bad Mojo and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Anthony, give us a game. Give us an animal.
Oh wait, no, Bad Mojo. You're playing as the roach. Wait, there you go, the roach game.
I think it's important to remind people in this moment that the greatest animal game of all time before Untitled Goose Game exists, and it is called Tokyo Jungle.
Yeah.
And Tokyo Jungle rules.
Tokyo Jungle is amazing.
I forgot about Tokyo
And
Jungle.
that's in every animal game where you're surviving in the post-apocalypse as a Pomeranian or an ostrich or an alligator or a freaking velociraptor. Why are they alive? Who cares? It's awesome. It's so good. And like there's also, I will say, just Reb, have you ever heard of Jingle Cats?
Jingle Cats.
It's okay if nobody has heard of Jingle Cats. It's a Japan-only PS1 game.
Oh no.
And this is the entire game. You pick 2 house cats, and then you have to make them be friends.
Ooh.
If anybody's
Okay.
ever lived with cats,
Yeah, no. That's a huge
making
no.
cats like each other is hell.
It is hell.
But then, if you actually get to do it, then the cats will sing a pop song for you.
Ooh.
Good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's the
So
most
if I
Japanese
had-
shit I've ever heard in my life.
I honestly think it would be kind of magical if somebody made a game where you're just like a garbage mutt dog and you have to play through that garbage mutt dog's entire life. Like you have
Oh.
to go.
But the dog would die
That
at
would
the
be
end.
so
Fuck
sad.
off,
That would be
Anthony.
It would be amazing. It would be the most
So-
moving thing in the world.
So there's a game that they could bring back that I think was a PS2 game, Mr. Mosquito.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, I forgot
Where
about
you
Mr.
were,
Mosquito.
Yeah, you were a mosquito, and you had to suck people's blood. That was what you had to do.
You know, Justin, you could jump off that. What about Untitled Maggot Game? If you had
No.
Untitled Maggot
None of
Game,
this is good.
yeah,
None of these are
you
as
could make
good
a
as the
horror
goose.
game.
Because
Make a
so
horror game.
not only are geese like a universally hated experience, they are also like a universally accepted thing. Like if I saw a fucking alligator walking down the street tomorrow, I'd fucking call animal control. I'd be like, dear God, no, we can't have that. That's not, it's got out of a zoo. What's that doing here? And again, if you're like in Florida, you have a different experience. But still, like, but if I see a goose walking down the street, I'm like, oh, it's a fucking goose. I better like walk the other way. God damn it! But I don't like call animal control. Like it's a goose. They're part of they're part of society.
You have the same reaction to maggots. Nobody likes maggots, but nobody's gonna call animal control on them. But if you see them,
no, but I'm gonna throw them out. I'm gonna pick it up and throw it out. I'm not gonna pick fucking geese and throw it out.
I'm just saying.
I think
Shut up, Anthony.
As much as I can tell, I think raccoon is the closest, but I think you're
might
right.
be the closest.
Raccoon is good. Raccoon is good. I still like. What about Untitled Bear Game, where you're trying?
No.
Where you're raiding picnic grounds, looking for people's food, trying to break into cars and take people's shit. Like I feel like a mischievous black
hold
bear.
on. It is currently Fat Bear season, so I propose a Katamari Damacy style game where you just try to be the fattest bear.
The fattest bear. Oh, I like it.
To get ready to hibernate.
Just stealing half-eaten bags of Lay's potato chips out of dumpsters. Yes.
I like it.
Pre-ordered.
I can fuck with that. All right, so we're running out of time here. I did say when we earlier on in this episode that I was going to gift a sub to a random person. And you know what? I've been thinking about this long and hard, and I think that I would like to gift a sub to our good friend Dio. So Dio, congratulations on your 1 month sub. You can now use that sweet ass Saki emote. Congratulations. Go ahead and spam that bad boy in chat before we go off here. And there you go, Dio. And spam it, Dio. Spam it. Get it out there. Get it out there. So does anybody have, there it is. I like to see that. Does anybody have anything else they want to share before we call it a night here? Holy shit, there's so many Sakis in the chat right now. Oh, and Jeff, thank you for the Jeff Grubb, thank you for the subscription.
Beautiful Saki spam.
That is a
Wow.
lot of
Beautiful.
Sakis right there. I need to contribute to that. So if nobody has anything else, Anthony, dude, it's been so long since you've been on. We missed you, man. We really did.
Oh, I'm so glad that you had me back, man. It's good to be back. I love talking to you guys.
We love you too.
We got to do another Mario Kart tournament.
We actually do. It's been way too long since we've done these damn community game stream nights.
I don't have Mario Kart.
But
who wants to do a
Mario Kart
Contra
tour
community stream?
I'll do it.
So I do want to remind everybody that we've got Extra Life coming up, and of course we will be running a 24-hour stream to raise money for a children's hospital. And the best part is that Derek, our producer, is driving to my house. He's driving 8 hours to my house, and we're gonna sit down on the couch together, and we're gonna stream games for 24 hours. And Anthony, he's making me play some game called Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Excellent.
No.
Excellent.
Wow,
It's 'cause-
that reaction fucking sucks. Like, I don't know anything about
Excellent.
this.
I thought you won that bet. How did this happen?
I don't know.
I swear I thought you won that particular bet.
I thought I did too, but you know what?
John, I hope you're ready to pick your waifu.
I'm
during
really
that
not.
session.
I'm really not. We're not playing it. We're not playing this game for 24 hours. But
No, well, I mean, there was
No.
the Steam sale on every hyper.
What we are going to do, is for 24 hours, we're going to stream really bad games, and we're going to riff on them. And we're just gonna have a lot of fun, kind of like our infamous the Quiet Man stream.
Quiet Man stream.
Yeah, we're just.
I'm gonna tune in at like hour 18. And
Oh no,
see
dude!
how it's
We're
going.
gonna be hammered. We're gonna be drinking. We're gonna be playing drinking games while we're streaming bad games, and it's just we're gonna be hammered, and it's all gonna be for a good cause. So please come out on Extra Life Weekend and support us. And we will. Derek and I will also be doing the podcast that Thursday together here in this room. So Derek will actually be sitting with me, right next to me here, like right here when we're podcasting on Thursday. So please.
Is this next week?
No, it's the first weekend
Halloween.
Halloween. On Halloween night, Derek will be sitting right next to me in this room here streaming.
Can we do a spooky podcast?
We can do a spooky podcast.
I want to do a spooky one.
We can absolutely do a spooky. We should all wear costumes. I
want to be real spooky. I want Derek to wear his Wario costume, and I want you to wear a spooky Luigi Mansion costume.
Okay. You know what? We'll figure. We should all wear. We're all gonna wear costumes.
Okay.
John, I can send you my old Vincent Valentine costume.
Actually, I'm gonna dress as Luigi, and I'm gonna buy a vacuum cleaner.
I would. Oh, that's a good one. That's a.
There's no way I'm gonna be able to do that, but I'll.
I think we're gonna stream.
The anti-smoking game. Holy shit! I forgot about that.
We're gonna stream.
The vape maze game.
No, we're gonna stream. I love you, Colonel Sanders. I'll tell you that much right now. We're streaming that. We're streaming that Colonel Sanders.
That game's supposed to be terrible.
It's supposed to be awful, which is exactly why I want to stream it. We'll go ahead and we're gonna get out of here. We will see everybody next week. It's not always poetry. We don't always agree, but we always keep it real. So until next time, please take care of each other. Enjoy your video games, and have a very good week.